Yes. All right. So how is everybody feeling today?
Very well.
Yeah. Really good. Let's go around and just do a check-in. Greetings, Hunter. So good to have you back. Let's do a check-in and just say your name and check in about how you're feeling. And if your feelings were the weather, what weather would we be experiencing today with your presence? If your feelings were like the weather. Who would like to go?
I'm Andrea, and I'm not feeling too great, but I'm here. And the breeze in the air causes my joints to hurt. My knees are bothering me right now. And I would hope it was a little warmer, but I'm awake, I'm here. That's what matters.
Okay, so you'd be a little breezy. Sounds like you'd be a little breezy. Thank you for that share.
I'm Cora, and I'm bright. The weather to me would be bright and fair.
This is Ray. I would feel sunshiny.
Oh, thank you.
I'm Hunter. I do this check-in with my team at work too, actually, and my mood usually matches the weather. So sunny for a sunny day today.
Hi, I'm Sonia, and I'm sunny today.
Hello. Hello, y'all.
Hi.
Greetings, Monique. We're just doing a round of check-ins and everyone is conveying how they are feeling today by using a weather forecast. So what kind of weather would you be?
Foggy.
You'd be foggy. Okay.
This is Jessica. I would be sunny, but with like a few clouds that pass through now and then.
This is Rebecca. I think I would be sunny with clouds and a breeze. I'm getting my vaccine this weekend, so looking forward to that. But I have sensitive skin that doesn't do well with needles, so so that's how I would feel. I would say looking forward to the vaccine.
My name is Regina, and I feel like I'm in between spring and summer, like a little warm sometimes, a little chilly sometimes, and I feel like, yeah, I'm just in transition. Okay. Cloudy with a chance of meatballs. Thank you everyone for showing up and sharing how you're feeling today. So do we need to go over housekeeping again really quickly? Confidentiality for everything that's said in this space. We're practicing the Vegas rule. Whatever happens and said is in survival school stays in survival school. If somebody has a personal share that you would like to know more about, it's important that you ask them if it's okay, if they were to elaborate or go deeper with that for you, maybe outside of the space, if it seems more appropriate. all truth is truth. We come from various lived experiences. So it's important that we allow the both and we see each everyone and we walk forward with inclusion. And does anyone, one mic, one voice. We're just going to hold space and practice listening while others are speaking so that we can fully understand and receive what their share is, what they are saying, and then step up and step back, just doing it some self-moderation. If you don't usually speak up, maybe take that chance to step out a little bit on the edge and speak up more often than you would. If you find that you're a person who is quite verbal, like I am myself, I have to practice like stepping back a little bit to create that space for those who would want to step forward. And if you have any questions about any of those agreements or would like to add another one for your own emotional safety, feel free at this time.
So this is Jessica. I just heard a great thing related to confidentiality at a meeting I was at yesterday, which is that people's experiences that are shared stay here in this space, but what you learn here gets shared more broadly. I don't know if I said that quite right.
Yes, that makes a lot of sense. I like how that was phrased. Yeah, I'm going to use that moving forward. Thank you. Has a lot of clarity. So we'll move forward with the announcements. We have a lot of upcoming events. It just seems like once spring has sprung, and I feel like the shelter in place orders are like slowly being lifted, that all of a sudden there's all of these upcoming events and activities and classes online and in person with social distancing as well. So I want to let you all know before I begin talking about them that these are listed in their survival sheets. I'm having an issue with my internet. So it's going to take me just another day or two for those to be completed and get those sent out to you. And then we will definitely be doing a text version. And we will have them translated in Spanish as well. So just know in the upcoming week that those various versions, we will have that rollout, making that happen. So I wanted to talk about the watch party. Well, first of all, East Bay Housing Organization is having a month-long calendar of events. So there's different workshops to attend. And there's a celebration happening in a few days. I'll make sure that if I don't have the completed survival school out to you, the survival sheets, that I'll make sure at least you have an email because you don't want to miss out on these. I signed up for 2 of these workshops already, and the celebration sounds really nice. There's music with some local musicians, and they're honoring some luminaries within the housing advocacy field and with their organization. And then there is a watch party on May 10th for a just released film. So, and we are looking at, SDA is looking at perhaps you all joining us for that. So more information will be forthcoming. And
Excuse me.
yes, Monique.
Where's this information out? Like, I don't get this information. I guess I don't get the print out. Oh, I guess I don't get the email.
You guys are not getting the email, Monique, the information?
Yeah.
Okay, so I will make sure that you're on that email list.
And Regina, can Monique or other people call you if they are having a problem getting the information? Is that one way?
Yes, yes, most definitely. If you do have, yes, if you do have a problem with not getting the information, definitely feel free to call me because I want you all to have this. It's so important. So the film that we're talking about is a premiere of Alice Street. And it's a film about Oakland artists and a mural that is threatened with displacement and the community who fought back. So we're going to watch the film together on Monday, May 10th at 5:30. And then following that is a discussion. And so that discussion is going to be led by our own SDA's Dolores Tejada and Oakland Chinatown's Coalition, Leilan Sandro Nguyen. So you can sign up for both parts in the chat. Oh, Florencia says it's a beautiful film. Thank you so much. Have you seen it?
Yes, well, at least I saw a short. I don't know if I think they were trying to make a longer version of it, so I don't know which one we're talking about.
Okay. Thank you. It does sound quite interesting. So I'm looking forward to. And then definitely the survival sheets are forthcoming. And I just want to say just about everyone who presented or was on a panel did provide a written summary of their presentation with active live links to go ahead and access resources and their website and to contact them directly. So this digital resource guide that I thought was only going to be a few pages has definitely expanded into something that is super robust and super powerful. So thank you all. So now if we can just go ahead and kind of get ready, we're going to ease ourselves into a quick meditation and some breath work just for about 5 minutes. So if we all just want to get comfortable where we're sitting, want to work with our shoulders a little bit, move them around, then bring them up to your ears, clench your fists.
Just trying to make me sleepy.
And bring your shoulders up to your ears again, clenching your fists. And then letting them go. Rolling your head around a few times in one direction. And then back in the other direction a few times. And then we're going to start with 3-part holding breath. So we're going to do a nose inhale for a count of 3. We're going to hold for a count of 3. And then we're going to do a mouth exhale for the count of 3. And I will walk you through it. So you can go ahead and let your eyes rest softly and just lower your lids just a little bit. And you're going to nose inhale, 2, 3, hold, mouth exhale, 2, 3. Nose inhale, hold, mouth exhale. 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 And continue that rhythm.
Human nature plays with nature. The nature is so autofulfill future. Stop sliding, stop sliding. So it's working. Living full of souls falling. Family is always struggling. But turning dead.
Open your eyes slowly. Shake out your fingers, wiggle your fingers, move your head. Move as much as your body as you want to, slowly but surely coming back into the room. How does everybody feel?
Wonderful. Fabulous.
Very
Wonderful.
good.
Yay, I'm so glad. I was happy to see everyone just doing what they felt that their body needed in that moment. Thank you, because that's what it's all about. I can only be a guide. You definitely know what your body needs in every moment. So with that being said, if we're all ready, we're going to dive into our first presentation today. So we're going to welcome Peter Estes, SDA's Crackle and Peer Advocate, which is a consumer rights organizer and peer advocate program supervisor.
Thanks, Regina. Thanks everyone for having me. Yeah, like Regina said, my title is consumer rights organizer, but that means I work with our team of peer advocates at SDA, a program Consumer Rights for Community Living, Crackle, CRCL. And yeah, I'm here just to get the opportunity to talk with you all a little bit more about that work, so I can share about the work that peer advocates do, and also you can meet with them or perhaps become a peer advocate yourself. We've got a couple of peer advocates actually on the call brushing up on their East Bay resources today. Hey, Cora. Hey, Rebecca.
Hi, Peter.
Constantly learning. And yeah, so just that's what I'm going to do, share a bit about the program, and then I'll have some time for questions. Cora and Rebecca will probably correct me along the way at some point, since they know best what they do. But yeah, so our peer advocates, it's a team of folks, people with disabilities and seniors who have joined SDA as members and who work to support people who call us or in non-pandemic times visit us, as they're navigating the complex web of in-home services and community-based support services. So including many of the programs that you may have heard about during this survival school. And at the same time, work to connect individual issues that people might bring in to our office to bigger picture organizing that we're all doing together to change these systems. And the reason we're doing this is because we know that this is this extremely complicated web of systems, and that there are so many programs that are not always easy or friendly to deal with. And so the peer advocates are there to give individual hands-on support and a friendly ear for solving problems. The team, truly a wonderful group of people, and they do a phenomenal job. And thinking about our goal to smooth out access to services and supports and help folks resolve grievances when their needs are not being met, and to, in a broader sense, ensure that people can remain in their homes and avoid being put in institutions, nursing homes, rehab facilities, psych wards, hospitals, against their will. Recognize and believing deeply as one of our core guiding principles that people have the right to the supports needed to live independently and to age in place, and that we're all better for it when those supports are available and when they're used. People always ask me for examples, like, what might someone come into the peer advocates with? And it's a whole range of things, right? I've sort of mentioned dealing with these complicated web of systems, but maybe it's that the elevator in your building is broken and your landlord's just not fixing it, meaning that you cannot get out of your apartment or you can't leave that floor. Maybe some confusing mail came from Social Security and you just want someone to read it through with, to make sure you know what it means and whether you need to take any action. Maybe a neighbor's facing eviction and you want to make sure that they get connected to someone who can help fight it. Maybe you or your partner are curious about how much income you can earn without risking your benefits. Maybe your rent's too high and you're looking to learn more about rental subsidies in your area. Now, with all of this and a lot of other things that I didn't mention, peer advocates can help, or we can help you figure out who you should talk to, who can work with you and help you figure out the answers to these questions and the ways to address these types of situations. So, whether it's getting connected to the person or at a service provider, right, or organizing with your neighbors, we're here to help you figure out what those right next moves are. In San Francisco in particular, this is all in close partnership with the Independent Living Resource Center. And currently, as we think about the East Bay, we're figuring out who are we closely partnered with here. So open to suggestions. But right now, at this moment in time, we're only doing support over the phone and email. But as I mentioned before, shelter in place, folks just came into our office and came in through a walk-in and just dropped in, visiting us in person. And obviously, when it's safe to do so, we'll do that again. So that's sort of the peer advocate program in a nutshell, and I can take questions on it in a second, but I'm not only here to tell you about the support that the peer advocates offer. I'm here to recognize that you all have already taken the initiative, gone through, learned all about these resources, shared more about resources you already knew about, and to plant a little bit of a seed for some of you all to think about becoming peer advocates. So if you're interested in supporting the community and you've got 3 hours a week, that's the baseline commitment, then we should talk and we should see if becoming a peer advocate is right for you, something that you're interested in. We do a strong training to make sure you're fully prepared and comfortable with becoming a peer advocate, covering resources, where to find them, the soft skills, and all the protocols, sort of nitty-gritty details of the role. So I've sent I'll make sure that all this information is included in the follow-up, but I'm going to share the phone number that you can call to reach the peer advocates. And I'm going to share 2 email addresses that you can reach them and you can reach me. And so if you're calling with something that an issue that you're dealing with, or someone else's issue that you're supporting them in dealing with, you just leave a message with your name, phone number, and a brief description, and then we'll get back to you. And if you're interested in being involved in the Peer Advocates program, you can contact me directly, and we'll talk and figure out how to get that set up. And I can give you also all the important information. Yeah, so like I said, I'll share that information at the end about the phone number and the email. But maybe now's a good second to ask any questions that folks have. Maybe Rebecca and go ahead, Regina.
I have a question. Do you have to be a member in order to be a peer advocate?
Yeah, so all of our peer advocates are members. So they become SCA members, and then you can become a peer advocate. I think it's, part of it is that our peer advocates are not just doing this to do a job, not just doing it to do some community service work. It's about a deeper philosophy of being there for peers and building a mutual aid concept of support. I know you all have talked a lot about the concept of mutual aid in this course, and so membership is part of that, and it's really part of seeing the peer advocate role as something beyond just calling and talking to someone and suggesting some referrals. It's also about seeing that bigger picture. So all of our peer advocates are members. Now, is everyone a member before they have their first conversation about becoming a peer advocate? No, certainly not. Because maybe that's the thing that people are most interested in doing is being a part of the community in that way. So yeah, good clarification.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I have another question. If anybody else does, I'm happy to step back, by the way. So you said the commitment is 3 hours a week.
Mm-hmm.
So how does that work? Say my 3 hours are up. Is it just people who would come into the office if we were open, or is there somewhere where you collect the information, the data on who has what needs?
Yeah, these are great questions. Yeah, so 3 hours a week is the typical starting shift. Someone would take 1 3-hour block once a week, and some people take more, right? I think that the person who has the most hours gets 10. Yeah, so I mean, in non-pandemic times before shelter in place, what we did is folks are taking a shift in the office, welcoming folks at our front desk and taking the calls that come into our main line, most of which are calls for peer advocates, maybe then get directed onto a staff member specifically. But it's a 3-hour shift at the desk. There's all the materials and resources there. Now, during this time of shelter in place, what we've been doing is the same shifts, but the way we work it is people call in and check our voicemail, which is the main vehicle that people are using to reach us in this time. People are calling, they'll leave us a voicemail, and then we'll call and follow up with them. And so people are just responsible for calls that come in between 10 and 1, for example, on Wednesdays. And then someone else is responsible from 1 to 4 on Wednesdays.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But we do have a centralized notes system and database where we're all keeping track of who we're working with to make sure, oh, maybe that message is still on the machine, but David did call them already. That kind of stuff.
Okay. All right. Thank you. I appreciate that. I was wondering how it worked pre-pandemic. And
yeah, you haven't seen the front desk even yet.
No, not yet. So yeah, thank you. Now I can put it all together and know actually what the position, what the position entails. So,
Mhm.
you know,
Mhm.
like whether a person needs to have extensive technology skills, whether, you know, whether they would need to be mobile or whatever. So that really speaks to accessibility with that position as well.
Yeah, and I mean, I'd love to also encourage Cora and Rebecca to share anything or thoughts that they might have. I know there might be some other questions out in the audience, but Cora, Rebecca, if you have any other perspectives you want to add to what it's like to be a peer advocate, or anything I've said that doesn't jive with your experience, please jump in.
You've done a good job in explaining it, and it's needful. It's very interesting, and if you are retired senior and you want to help the community and the seniors and disabled persons, it's a good field to be in. You get great support and training. That's you know, you don't have to come in as an expert, but you learn as you go. And it has just been a blessing for me to work with it. So those that would be interested, I would say check it out. And you spend your 3 hours and you learn telephone etiquette and the like. And I found it very helpful and needful in time like these. Thank you.
Thanks, Cora.
Any questions anyone would like to ask of me? It's like a family. Here.
Oh, I would say in addition to helping others, which I've always loved doing for years back, as somebody who is visually disabled, partially blind, I found out what was accessible to me when I began helping out at SDA. People were able to refer me to Lighthouse for the Blind and help me with further access to public transit and getting assistance on public transit as somebody with those disabilities. So I was able to help others, seniors, as well as people with my situation, which I really enjoy and gain so much from, as well as help myself in that position. So I really gained so much, and I continue to learn every day. So it's such a rewarding experience.
Yeah, I think that learning every day is a big part of it, certainly for me as well. It's because everyone comes in with their own specific story. You're learning a new story and you're learning about new things every day, right? You can know all the resources that exist Friday, but come Monday, there's something new to learn about. And yeah, no, it's one of the beautiful things of it, the challenges, and also one of the things that keeps it interesting. All right. No, I mean, if there aren't any other questions, I don't mean to hold up the agenda, but if there are other questions, shout them out.
No, please do.
I'll put my information.
So, have you or any of the other peer advocates been presented with something that maybe they weren't really sure about handling, and what is your procedure for that? How much support is there in being able to?
Yes, the support is there, and that's why you have a vigorous training, and etiquette is very important. And the key to it all is to be a good listener and don't assume anything. Ask appropriate questions, and you don't go overbound with making promises that, you know, you're not able to handle. And if you can't handle, have the immediate answer. You have support available, and you would let the person know that you will get back to them with the hopeful solution. So I find it very supportive. You're not out there alone, but it's always in a learning process for me.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, I just agree with what Cora says. I think we try to work in as collaborative a fashion as possible to learn together, and both within our team and with other organizations. We just had our team meeting this morning, and at each of our monthly team meetings, we have an outside guest come to share about things to make sure we're staying up to date and brushing up on resources and building those connections. But I think what Cora said earlier was really important, which is that we make clear what we can and can't do, and what we know for certain and what we don't. For example, with housing in the area, we were just having a conversation this morning. There are best directions and paths that we can help people go down, but there's a deep housing crisis in the area, and from where we are, right? We can't wave a magic wand and make it go away, right? There's deep organizing and advocacy that needs to be done to change the system more broadly. What we can do is make sure that we're giving folks the best support in this moment that we have available to offer, and the best advice that we have available to offer. But yeah, I know there are definitely situations that we encounter where we can offer advice and referrals, but there's not always a direct answer.
Thank you for that. I have a much clearer picture of what you do and what the peer advocates' roles are, and how well versed you are with like being in the community and really supporting the people in your neighborhoods and in your communities. And that's why I see Cora's beautiful face like at almost every event. It's like, and Rebecca, and yeah, that's super awesome. I would like to attend a meeting.
We got you. We have a spot reserved for you next meeting in June if you want to be there.
Right? Yes. Thank you so much.
We got to talk to you about that. It might be June 4th now, but we'll talk.
That's okay. That's okay. I'm available. I'm excited. Thank you so much.
Cool.
Does anybody have any other questions for Peter, or any comments, or for Cora or Rebecca? Thank you, Peter,
Thank you.
for asking to be part of this survival school series. This is like such a great bookend presentation. Like all roads lead back to SDA. It's so wonderful. There's so much opportunity here, in many different ways for participants and, members to really actualize themselves and step into, roles of leadership, here and in the community. So thank you for showing us that this is another avenue. Really appreciate that.
So happy to be here, and really glad that that this survival school is happening and that we've got so many people here today. It's great.
Yeah, super cool. I'm excited. So, oh yeah. So next we're going to take a 5-minute body break. So you can take this time to get something to drink, move your body around, use the restroom, and then we'll be back for some group work.
Okay, thanks everyone. I do have to run, but appreciate the time.
Thank you, Peter. Thank you so much.
No, my pleasure.
Okay, I hope everyone had time to take care of their needs and to get a little stretch in and get hydrated. So I wanted to talk about individual and collective action. And we've been talking about this. So for example, individual action is, say you need repairs in your building and you might write a letter or pay a visit to the management. And if these are unsuccessful, then you might go to an outside resource like a housing rights committee, Bay Area Legal Aid, or some other group. Advocating for yourself is an individual action. And individual action is important because it's how we assert our rights. And collective action is when we're working together to solve a problem for a group of people, changing the system or the conditions, not just for yourself, but everyone involved. Say, for example, if you had an issue with a crosswalk on your block. Collective action could possibly look like you would get together with all of your neighbors, you know, the ones who have small children, seniors on the block, people with disabilities, and come together and begin to organize to get those crossing conditions changed. So does anybody have any examples that they would like to just share around individual action that they've thought of doing or perhaps have done in the past? Yes.
Yeah, I have. So we had a big pothole on the block, and it was so bad that everybody's tires were getting messed up, and it was getting deeper and deeper, and pretty much, I would say about 12 inches, maybe a little deeper than that. And I had to call a friend of mine because we kept calling the city of Oakland and they wouldn't do anything. And I had to call someone that I know, Ken Houston. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of him. He had to step up and have them come fill the pothole. But he tried to get the rest of the potholes fixed and they never came out and finished any of the others, just the one that was really deep. And I mean, some of the neighbors tried to do it something, but nothing happened. So I just, intervened and called Ken Houston. And he got on top of it and they fixed it within a day.
That's wonderful. Okay, thank you for sharing that. And that was a little bit of collective and individual, right? like trying to get your neighbors together to organize, and then it ends up like there's one person who can come out and give an immediate and get an immediate result.
Well, I think they were pretty much afraid to step up and say something, and they just, some of them just came to me and asked me a few questions. And they said, well, I know you know a few folks that work for the city of Oakland. And I said, well, I mean, I know them, but I don't know what I can do. I can try. And I just made that phone call. And he had it done within a day.
Okay.
Pretty much worked out.
Yeah, that sounds good. I'm glad you were able to accomplish that. Yeah, that's super cool, right? So does anybody have an example of a collective action that they are thinking about, they have been a part of?
Well, I haven't been a part of this, but I do know an issue could be dealt with, and I could see it being collective, is sidewalks, you know, where the trees buckle the sidewalk. That's very dangerous for seniors, children, for everybody. Because I had a fall by a juvenile hall one year, scarred my glasses and everything by tripping over a raised sidewalk. It was unlevel. So that would be a way you can get the neighbors, the community people, and band together and make a formal complaint.
Thank you. Thank you, Cora. So thank you everyone for sharing their own experiences with individual and collective action. So now we're going to go into breakout groups, and I'm going to propose a situation, and you will have about, what is that, 7 minutes to work together as a group and come up with some ideas for individual and collective action. So the scenario is you live in a small apartment building. You and your neighbors have lived in the building for 30 years. The owner of the building sells it, and the new owner wants to evict everyone and sell all the apartments as individual units. What are some examples of individual and collective action that you can take? So are we ready to go into groups?
Are you asking me?
Yes.
Should I go ahead?
Yes, please. Thank you.
Okay, I think our interpreters are leaving. I think we should be good. And the question is in the chat now. If anyone has any questions, you can always hit ask for host or something like that, and then I'll come help. Here you go.
Hello.
Hi there, Hunter. Hi, Monique.
Hi, Monique. Hi, Regina.
Okay. So let's talk about some of that action.
Yeah, this is interesting to me. I am a social worker in the housing field, actually, but we don't tend to be working with situations like this, but probably calling Bay Area Legal Aid first and foremost, because they work with lower income folks and would probably have some ideas about ways to slow or halt that. I know right now, because of the pandemic, there are some additional protections. And so researching those and to what extent that might be covered.
Yeah, that's definitely those first steps. Are you a social worker in the East Bay?
Yeah, I work with Abode Services.
Abode Services. Okay, cool. Yeah, and there's also a housing advocacy organization called Casa Justa, Just Cause.
Oh, yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, and they are doing ongoing tenants' rights workshops
Mhm.
and organizing trainings as well.
Okay.
So I would want to speak with legal aid. You know, your suggestion, what was that, Bay Area Legal Aid? And
Mhm.
attend the training and workshop and oh, excuse me, talk to my neighbors and ask them to attend as well.
Well, I remember, I remember when I went to this, like very, very young home, and I didn't know what to help me. And this went on for 2 years, but in the end, they sold my building, but in the end, they offered me another apartment. They offered me a small apartment, but I've been here for 12 years, but it's not right for me. It don't got no shower. I can't get in and out of the shower, but they did offer me another apartment, so I was happy.
Yeah, I hope they do offer you another apartment soon.
Yeah.
And that could be something to organize toward too, and have that as a goal is to.
They did. That was 12 years. That was 12 years ago.
Oh, okay.
12 years ago. Every 2 years they offer me another apartment, but I've been here all down, but it still ain't good for me. But yeah, I was lucky that they did offer me another apartment.
Yeah.
So
I'm so glad.
yeah.
Yeah, that sounds like a successful action.
But
And but you still need to get something better than what you have now, is what you're saying.
yeah, I used to have a walk-in shower, and I don't got no walk-in shower. But
Is
it's hard.
that something that you would want to organize around, or or were you here the day that Rebuilding Together was here with Lisa Malul and they do the housing modifications?
Yeah, but I was here, but I don't, I don't, I don't own this apartment.
Yeah. But I'm wondering if that's
A lot
something.
of times you can still request a reasonable modification.
Yes.
And in a lot of cases, it actually adds value to the apartment when you move out for the person who owns it.
Thank you for having that language, Hunter. That's exactly what I was thinking. I think that not to push you, Monique, but maybe that's a conversation like we could continue to have and, you know, map it out before like we even take to someone. But maybe that's something that we could advocate for and come up with the funds, you know, meet them, do a match somehow, you know, because we were talking about fundraising with Rebuilding Together. So maybe that's something that we could work on.
Okay.
Collective action, only if you feel comfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's continue the conversation. Think about it. And if you want to continue the conversation, can I send you an email?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, that sounds good. Because sounds like, yeah, a walk-in shower would be certainly ideal.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
And if you want to go a little bit more of an individual slash systems paperwork route, I could provide a form for reasonable accommodation requests that we use at other locations so that you've got that structure around it and it looks official and maybe even a little scary.
Yes. Okay. Okay.
And then maybe that is amazing, Hunter. And then making sure that you are in contact with our peer advocates so they can support you in the process.
Okay.
Ooh, look at that. That's super
Mhm. Making
awesome.
magic.
Yeah, right? Oh my goodness. That's super cool.
Yeah, I used to volunteer with you guys just as a food dropper, but now that I know a lot more about the resources around here and can do things on the system side, I'd love to be more in touch and see how I can help out and transfer information at least.
That would be absolutely amazing. You were